Okay, so we are live both on Facebook and also on YouTube. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to make money or how to invest in stocks with no money. Okay, so I think let's take it from the top on how I got the idea for this particular episode, and then I'll tell you guys, how I actually did it. So. Um, about 1 or 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a bunch of students, right? And they were maybe 18 to maybe 20s. And we were talking to them about investment styles. We were talking about, how they want to build their portfolio. And we were talking about how they would like to invest. And the underlying common theme, which I found out, is that many actually likes, hey, Alva, how are you? So I was just talking a little bit about, I guess, a small group of students I met the other day, and a lot of these guys, right, when talking about their investment styles, they said something really interesting that at this point in time they are looking at meme stocks, whereby they put quite very little capital and they expect that burst, like that big returns, and I think that's one of the reasons one of my stock picks actually got really popular, which is I think Dagang Next. Yeah, I think that was a couple of cents. It went up to 2 or 3 ringgit. I forgot already, but anyway, back to how I got this particular idea. So when I was talking to the students and when I'm talking to people, I try to get different ideas, and while talking to them, this thought actually popped in my head, and I was thinking to myself, is it even possible to actually invest with no money? That was a thought in my head, and I would say, and I still remembered, just thinking about it for a couple of days, and I was like, can or cannot, can or cannot, can or cannot, and then it dawned into me. Actually, it is possible, and I actually did it when I was, I guess, in my 20s too. And I'll tell you how I did it, and I'll tell you the idea on behind how I actually did that investment. Okay, so number one, the most important thing, right, is this. When I was, in my 20s, I actually read a lot of books on investing, right? When you read books or when you get knowledge, it will membuka minda, or it will open your mind up to different ideas and different ways of doing things, right? Say before this, if we have not read books on investing, right, and if you ask us to invest, it's almost next to impossible. But right now, when you actually read books on investing, that will really open up your mind and that will give you different ideas. And for me, I still remember when I was in my 20s, I was heavily influenced by Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? And one of the advice that he used to say is invest in OPM, which is other people's money, and OPT, other people's time. Okay, so what does other people money means is that when we borrow, right? And he was very heavy into real estate. When you borrow, you actually buy a particular real estate, you flip it, or when you borrow, you buy a particular real estate and you rent it out. And the I guess the borrowing cost is much lower than the rental on a monthly basis, right? That was his philosophy on other people's money, right? But for me, I wanted to invest in stocks, and what I did, right? I was thinking on how to do it, and this is how I did it. I actually invested in Amanah Saham Bumi Putra, right? And if you guys are thinking, oh wait, I'm non Bumi. Wait, I'll give you an example in today's context. Okay, so for me, when I read that book, I was like thinking of different ways of how to invest, so on and so forth. And it dawned into me, Amanah Saham Bumi Putra. And then at that point in time, it was very new, and not many people actually took opportunity of this. And at that point in time, Amanah Saham used to pay about 13, 14, or maybe 15%. But the borrowing cost was about 5%, right? Let me ask you a question. If you were to actually borrow 10,000 ringgit, right? And say the borrowing cost is 5%, returns is about 15%. This particular investment is backed by the government, right? If that 10,000, 10%, you'll get 1,000 ringgit free money. For me, at least, that was my thought process. And that was one of the cornerstones on how I actually accumulated, I guess some wealth actually, by actually investing in ASB. But having said that, as we all know, ASB right now, their latest interest was about 4 point ish percent. But the borrowing cost, the thing is, for me, I actually borrowed since really back in the day, so the borrowing cost was actually very high for me, right? Maybe 5%. So right now there is a mismatch between the borrowing and also the returns. But having said that, I had many good years for the ASB investments, right? And that's how I did it. So in today's context, right, in today's episode, right, let's challenge ourselves. If I were to ask you, or if we were to come up with different ways, or if we really were to challenge ourselves, think out of the box, how does one actually invest, right, in stocks with no money down? Let me ask you guys this. You guys, any ideas? Okay, so there's not many people out there. So okay. So one of the ways of doing this, right, was I actually did it again quite recently, and how I did it was like I got a family member of mine, and this person actually does trading, right, and in trading, what you do is you buy in bulk, right? When you buy in bulk and you break the bulk and you sell it into I guess into small pieces, right? So one day I talked to this family member of mine and I said, how much is how much do you make if you buy in bulk? If you buy in bigger bulk, do you save even more money? The thing with buying in bulk is that if you buy in bigger and bigger bulks, what will tend to happen is that they will get better discounts from the manufacturer. And they told me, yeah, they says if they were to buy in bulk, they will get a bigger discount, right? And when I was looking at the business, I could see that uh, for them to sell their products, it was really easy, right? And since this is a family member of mine, and I looked at the business, it looked pretty macam kukuh. So, pretty stable, right? And what I did was I actually invested in that particular company, right? So, I invested in that particular company, given that I trust that particular family member, and the particular family member of mine actually stays quite close by to me, number one. And number two, I looked at their track record and they have a very strong business track record. And what I did was, instead of borrowing, I actually paid via cash. But if there's an opportunity, if can borrow, maybe at 3 or 4%, right? And if you make about 10% returns, maybe that is one of the ways you can actually invest in stocks without putting that much of money down. So I guess that's a small little idea which I want to share with you guys, and I think the overall thing, I just want to wrap up this episode by just saying one thing. All right, and this is the one thing I always talked about: the importance of getting knowledge, and how knowledge is more important than the asset classes we invest in. And one of the reasons why is that, like I said many times, I grew up in, I guess, rural Malaysia, very simple family, and a lot of my cousins and whatnot, they're just not into investing. So sometimes when I talk to them about how to multiply, how to grow money, they just don't quite have the idea on how to do so. So I guess what I want to say, the small little lesson I want to impart over here is that, do read, do always open your mind up, and the better questions that you have, right, the better answers that you get. So my question to you guys today is that, try to find a way to invest your money where the risk is low, but the return is relatively high. Could you think of any? Write it down on a piece of paper. And like I said in my previous episode, take the small steps on a daily basis. And that is your small little steps to wealth, I guess. So with that, I'm going to open up the floor for questions if anyone has questions. Alpha, if you have any questions. Okay, so that's that. Thank you so very much for coming into this particular episode. I'm I keep trying to make challenges for myself to actually 30-day challenges of creating video on a daily basis. But I always fail. I think I've been doing it about 3 or 4 times. But you know what? In those challenges, I actually created a fair bit of videos. So right now, this is the second day of my, I guess, 30-day challenge. Yeah, sure. What's up? Uh, so while you're typing out your question, I'm just gonna say that this is second day of my 30-day challenge, and I want to try to build this channel episode by episode, and I want to give you guys ideas, one idea at a time, so that you guys can actually build your wealth. So again, if there's any questions, okay. Okay, so there's this one question as to what am I doing right now? Okay, right now in the decision of studying or working. Okay, yeah, I know it's very popular right now. That I've been watching a lot of videos on whether one should actually study or work. So for me, I I actually took the traditional route of studying. But back then, there was this thing called job security, right? But having said that, I think it was very public, and I think most of you guys know that I had a VSS, and is very very common. That's the first thing. The second thing, which is very true, is that machines are taking a lot of our jobs up already. So right now there are less and less jobs in the market. So job security, I think, is is something of the past, I feel like. So to answer you, I guess in a roundabout way, if I was your age today, looking at the economic uncertainties and whatnot, I think I'll do both. Honestly, I'll study and also I'll work. And this is the reason why. With a degree, at least you have a fallback. And me being, I guess, I guess I guess conservative investor, you can see that I buy assets like ASB, but every once in a while I buy like really like stocks that can give me the super growth. For me, I like to actually have a strong base, but at the same time, I love to actually have that growth element. So last time when I was working, I guess I'll just end this episode with this one story. Last time when I was working, what I used to do was I used to work for my company. So that was between 8 to 5 or 6, right? And what it is like after that, I would go around the startup circles and I'll tell them, guys, I'll work for you guys for free. And that's the second way to actually getting free stocks. After, if the company is successful, I'll be a co-founder of that company. And I actually helped co-found 2 or 3 companies. But yeah, 2 companies went bust lah. So yeah, if not, yeah, life would be a bit different. Yeah, Alpha. Yeah. It would Intifa Zanuddin, is it? It would. Sorry if I butchered your name, bro. So yeah. So yeah, and I was saying, I was actually, I was in the startup space, and what it is that during that point in time, I actually was working at the same time. I actually worked for free in that particular startup company, and at that point in time, I still remembered. Even though the companies did not go listed, even though those companies did not really I'll tell you a little bit about MIDF. Even though those companies did not go listed, but having said that, what it is that yeah, I learned a lot on entrepreneurship and how to build businesses. I learned how to actually get new contacts, so on and so forth. So don't ever think that that if a venture fails, that we fail. It's never like that. When every time when we are not so successful in one venture, what we impart, what we get out from it is all the knowledge. So okay, so this is the second question. So with regards to MIDF Invest, I yeah, I think if you guys were to, I think search content moving forward, you will see that I'm gonna start creating more and more content on this subject. But I think it's a great initiative. Okay, and I'll give you guys three reasons. Okay, number one, right now, if you want to invest in the US markets, right, a lot of I think YouTubers, they tell names from Singapore, right? So a lot of times we have to convert our ringgit into Singapore dollars, and from Singapore dollars you have to convert it into US dollars. So that way we actually convert it twice, and that is a service that people render when we want to convert our money. So we will lose money from converting our money twice. So that's one thing which which uh, the I guess the advantage of investing in a local company. That's advantage number one. Second thing which I like is that they have Sharia component, and yeah, when I was talking about Rakuten, a lot of times when I guess subscribers ask me whether they were Sharia or not, I felt really embarrassed to say, that I guess Rakuten is not Sharia compliant, but with MIDF Invest, it's a Sharia platform. So that's the second thing which I like. And right now, I think, it's you can invest ethically and you can invest tanpa was-was. So that's the second thing, lah. Or you can invest without any doubts, I guess, in our heads. Okay, that's the second thing. I think the third thing is that I think right now we can see that this is SC is actually clamping down on a lot of foreign guys, which is over in Malaysia. My fear is that the foreign guys, if they clamp down, what's going to happen to our money? So I think MIDF Invest is actually apa tu, they have the SC punya endorsement, or so that's the third thing which I actually like about them lah. So yeah, these are my thoughts. Thank you so very much to actually just coming and just hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to have more hangout sessions about this time. I think this is the time I actually finish my work. So yeah, I just wanted to share knowledge with you guys, and the whole dream is that I want to get a group of really share ideas, and eventually, if we come with one or two really great ideas, I hope that you guys can make 2021 a good year for your investment portfolio. Yeah, so with that, I would like to sign off. I'd like to thank all you guys coming to listening, and take care, guys.